Hey guys, so it's 1 a.m. in the morning and I just felt like tinkering a little bit, playing around. I got this engine I need to dig deep into, and if you've seen my previous video, you'll know the steps that I'm going through to diagnose the engine. Look, it starts, it runs, it does everything you want it to, but I always check everything before I resell a piece of equipment, and if it's not right, I fix it. That's just really important to me to do that. Anyway, we've got to the point where we're testing the primary and the secondary windings in the coil, and primary is great. We're at 1 ohm of resistance. Yes, it is a electronic ignition. It will be running through triggers, semiconductors, this, that, and the other, but more often than not, you can get a good reading. Secondary winding, check this out. These are notorious for it. It's not the first time I've had it. I'm going through the secondary winding and it's giving me open loop. That's basically telling me that it's not connected. Somewhere along this circuit between the secondary windings, it's not connected. So what I've done, you take a hypodermic needle and I'm punching it into the sheathing of the HT lead. Focus. 8.2 kilo ohms of resistance. Perfect. Had I not done this, it's very likely in the not too distant future that the new owner will be getting ignition issues. Between the barb there and the HT lead itself, there is not a good connection to ground. Sorry, and just before I fix it, have a quick look at this. You ready? At the moment, 0 ohms of resistance. We touch there. We get perfect reading, 8.2. Touch the barb, which should give us another perfect reading. We get 0. So I can't quite believe what I'm seeing here. It's just Victor is an okay. It's a decent homeowner make. This is the most useless HT lead. It's a few very fine strands of wire that are basically twisted around this some sort of probably conductive material, but it's not conducting on the actual test. So I'd say it's not conductive at all. Let's have a look. No, it's not giving me anything. Nothing at all. So it's not conductive, it's insulative material. And there are very few fine wires that are wrapping around. That's just not enough. This is what HT cable should look like, high tension lead cable. It's a multi-strand core wire, and you'll get an excellent reading from that, and it's very consistent. There's probably around about, maybe about 25 to 30 strands in there, and that's what it should be. Whereas this, they've got about, well, just very few, and it's just kind of, I can't honestly, I can't see them. I can feel them when I push the knife in gently, and I cut a little bit off the end. You can see one there. One little wire there, that little, I mean, it's ridiculous. Let's clip onto that and see what happens. So we're clipped onto that single wire. You can't see it, still nothing. It's a terrible wire, terrible connection. Ideally, what I'd like to do is to take this boot off, undo it, put a better lead in there and put it back on, but I am not certain that there's a barb under there, and that is a big problem. This whole thing, this wire is totally unsuitable. Let me think for a bit. Okay. Note those little wires, there's like next to none. They're wrapping around this core here. You're looking at about 15 times magnification. That is a terrible HT lead, totally unsuitable for any sort of reliability. Oh, sorry, I lost you there. Useless. So yeah, thought I'd just show you that. I've never seen that before. This is what it should look like. Multi-strand core wire, nice thick. Well, I say thick, it's a relative word, but not impressed. It's getting more and more painful as I go further and further in. It's one single strand of that thickness wrapping around the whole time. That's all it is for this HT lead. That hurts my brain. That is so, I burnt some of that insulator, not even insulation, it's just filler material. That is all that we're using. Okay guys, so I cut some wire back, never reuse holes, and never reuse holes on a single strand HT lead. So I've never seen it before. I had to cut it back because if you break that wire, so when you punch these in, if you break that single strand, you will no longer get the connection. So what I did was I nipped the wire back slightly. I then put the barb and I put tension on the barb so that it was actually putting a lot of force on this spring so that the end of this is connecting to the spring and it's not loose. Both barbs in both sides, heat shrink tubing on, sucked it down with some heat. And now if we go on here, we need to go to ground. And we go onto here, like so. Dun, 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 8.1 ohms of resistance. So look guys, it was really interesting to see this. I've never seen it before. I've never seen an HT lead with a single strand like that wrapped around filler material of some sort. I don't know what it is really. Yeah, you guys will know. Someone will know. Now we have far more reliable connection along the HT lead to the spark plug. So there we go.